Hey everyone, you've heard the phrase, don't believe everything you read or don't believe everything you hear. And I think we can also include, don't believe everything you see on YouTube. And I saw a video the other day talking about the swing rhythm, and I just had so many disagreements with what the YouTuber was trying to get across there. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the swing rhythm, and you don't have to believe what I say either. But what you should do is listen for yourself and then decide, what swing really is. So the best way to feel swing and to, understand how to do it is to listen to it. You want to listen to standard jazz songs at a medium tempo, and you will find that the swing rhythm is indeed based on the triplet. A jazz song written out, and it'll have up there at the top, 2/8 notes equal the triplet with, the person said, swing is not based on a triplet, it's based on a feel. Well, the feel is the feel of a triplet. And we're talking about medium to slightly fast tempos here. At a really fast tempo, things do change a little bit, but at a comfortable tempo, swing is definitely based on the triplet. And I'm going to use the song A Train to demonstrate this. So right here on this line, all right, that is definitely based on the triplet. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. Okay, counting out the triplets is 1, 2, 3. If I played it with a straight rhythm, it would sound like this. And that's how you'll see it written out on the page. But you have to imagine that the first eighth note of a pair of eighth notes that's on the beat, the first one is longer, the next one is shorter, and so forth. Now, another thing that this YouTuber said is that not only is it not based on the triplet, but it's based on the accent, that you would play it this way. Accenting the ands of the beat, all right? Now, I've listened to a lot of jazz, and I hear that in a tiny, tiny way occasionally, but it's certainly not something you want to try to do. And I'm going to put a few clips of HAL GALPER up here, and he talks about that as well.
Also, watch out for loud, soft articulations. That's a fake way of swinging.
Okay.
It's an articulation. Here's my philosophy on articulation. The function of articulation is to enhance the line. It's its only function. No articulation should be automatic. Take all 4/4 influence out of your playing. Just play in time. But you've got to take all of that out so that it's...
I have another book over there by John Mahegan, and it shows the swing rhythm and the accents on the ands of all the beats, and it's just not something you want to do. That's trying to swing. If you want to swing, you've just got to do it.
Do you think you can swing? Yes or no?
Yes.
Then don't try to swing. By trying to do something you already can do, you mess it up.
All right.
All right? So if you have that confidence that you already can swing, then all you got to do is play the notes.
Okay.
That's all you got to do. Nothing in excess of that.
All right, it's like learning French. I mean, you could sit there and study the book all day, but the best way to learn it is to go to France and stop speaking English and just, join the club. All right, and even at a faster tempo. All right, and occasionally now, a lot of times at the end of the line, like if the line ends on, say, the and of 4 or the and of a beat, you give that a little accent,
Here's my philosophy on articulation. The function of articulation is to enhance the line.
Maybe like, is that on the and of 4? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and. So it's on the and of 1. I did a video the other day about the blues, working out of this book right here by David Baker. Great trombone player, and then switched to cello. And I was doing this blues right here, F7. Doesn't say anything about doing it as a swing, but it's just something that's just kind of understood when you're reading a jazz chart, unless it says a Latin rhythm. If it's a Latin rhythm, then it is even eighths. So here, I'm going to play this as even eighths with accents on the ands. Now, I'm going to play it with the swing rhythm. In other words, it'll be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. All right, so. And you see the line even has a triplet in it. So if you went, I mean, that is not swing. All right. Now, another thing that people often say is that sometimes swing is written as a dotted eighth note and a 16th. And yes, now you're syncopating it a little bit too much. However, listen to drummers. When drummers bounce that stick on the cymbal and they're going ding, ding, da-ding, ding, da-ding, that little bounce there is usually very quick. It's not really like a triplet at all. It's closer to a 16th note, and it might even be a faster note than that. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, ba-bum, bum, bum, because that stick bounces pretty close to the cymbal. And, you know, drummers can control how the height of the bounce and how much rhythm they're going to get. But it's not going to always be exactly a triplet rhythm, but it's certainly pretty far away from a straight eighth rhythm. When you get to faster tunes, the triplet becomes a little less important. Suppose you're playing Donna Lee, which of course starts with a triplet. All right, I don't really know the song. I used to know it, but you know, I don't play it that much anymore. I kept getting that wrong yesterday, so I thought I'd come back and fix it a little bit. Okay? Even at and that's not a super fast tempo, but that's a reasonably fast tempo, and there's still swing in there. I'll try to do it without swing. All right, I missed a few notes in there, but you hear it just doesn't have that feel, right? All right, screwed that up, but you get the idea. Now, when you get really fast tempos, above 200, you know, up to 300, it's very, very difficult to, you know, to play a triplet rhythm for swing. But the feeling is kind of still there. I've also heard things about bass players should play an accent 2 and 4. Like suppose we're doing a blues in A flat. Okay, it kind of feels okay, but I listen to a zillion bass players. I put the recordings in my studio and looked at the waveform of the bass. I couldn't find any example where a bass player plays that. I mean, the drummer does hit on 2 and 4, and many people practice with the metronome on 2 and 4, and that helps give you that feeling of the swing. But you shouldn't try to accent that way. It's just more of a feeling than something deliberate that you're doing. In other words, don't try too hard to swing. Now, when you're playing a really fast tune, and HAL GALPER talks about this a lot too, if you're trying to tap your foot, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. All right. All that motion and all that energy will tend to slow you down and drag you behind the beat. And HAL GALPER agrees with me. And if you don't know who HAL GALPER is, he's a pretty famous piano player. All right. He's not like a guy who, you know, makes a living putting out YouTube videos. I mean, he's a great player. And he's still alive, too. He's in his 90s. But great educator and great player.
If you look at some of the videos that are older jazz musicians playing, most of them tapped on 1 and 3. Say this is the 4/4 tempo, 1, 2, 3, 4. And you're playing at halftime. What tunes are usually played at this tempo?
Fast tunes.
No, at this tempo.
Ballads?
You're right.
Okay.
So what you're doing, in effect, is making every swing tune a ballad.
Oh, okay.
And you can't get excited on a ballad.
He suggests, tapping on 1 and 3 or feeling the beats as 1 and 3. And all right, since I don't know the song, I'm just kind of improvising. But a little pro tip here. Learn songs like Donna Lee or Confirmation, all those Charlie Parker songs, because the melodies are like solos, all right? So if you're trying to learn how to improvise jazz solos, just learn the heads of these, the melodies of these songs, and you'll find that some of those ideas will start working their way into your own improvisations. So one thing I've helped students with over the years is how to interpret the swing in a written piece of music. And I'm going to use the song Confirmation by Charlie Parker here to demonstrate this. And so we know that if you have 2 eighth notes, one of them's going to be long and one of them's going to be short, but which is which? And you have to decide, or you have to figure out which eighth note is on the beat and which is on the offbeat or the and of the beat, right? So we're in 4/4 time. Let's look down at the second line where it's a little easier to figure out. Now we've got like an F minor. I'm just going to play this for the chord. And, we're starting right on the first beat. So that's going to be the long note. The next note will be the short one. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And now in the next measure, we see we have an eighth rest. And so the first note's going to be a short one. So we can go 1 and 2 and, or even without the chord, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. And 1, 2, and, okay? Second measure again in the second line. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, and. Now in the first line, it's a little trickier. We've got a pickup note. That's going to be a short note because it's on the and of 4. A 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So when you're counting, and any good music teacher will tell you this, if you want your rhythm to be accurate and you want to learn a correct rhythm for anything you're playing, counting out loud is essential. I've heard students say this a million times. I'm counting in my head. Yeah, well, I can hear what's going on in your head, and it's wrong. So please count out loud, and we'll count together, and that'll straighten it out. A 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. All right, see those last 2 notes are both off the beat. 4 and 1 and 2. Okay, I hope that helps you. Just remember, first figure out which eighth notes are on the beat. Those will be the long part of the triplet, and what eighth notes are on the and of the beat, and those will be short, closer to a 16th note, but it's really just the third note of a triplet.